Limitless Nation, today you're in for a real treat. Today, you get to learn directly from Carlos Adell. Carlos Adell, AKA the Unstoppables Coach. With over 20 years of coaching experience, Carlos is a speaker and business coach. He found his calling after an 8-day coma. After waking up, Carlos changed everything and found himself in Australia not knowing the language. Carlos found his talent in helping his peers and fellow coaches. He set out to unpack his strategy and developed the Freedom Accelerator and the Unstoppables 101. This resulted in Carlos becoming the go-to coach for coaches who wanted to build a meaningful and unique coaching business. Carlos's signature programs for coaches are designed to get them from zero profit all the way up to $10,000 plus a month consistently. Carlos is on a mission to bring awareness to the world by building a community of limitless coaches. In today's masterclass, you are going to learn directly from the master himself, Carlos Adell. Let's dive into it.
Well, before you dive into today's masterclass session, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking on the subscribe button below. It allows you to receive notification about every single time we have uploaded a new video and showing you how to live a limitless life. Now, if you want to dig deeper on what you need to do to hunt your future, make sure you watch the interview that I've done with Donna Vaughn at huntyourfuture.com. It will show you how you can hunt your future on every aspect of your being. Plus, you're going to receive tips and secrets on what you need to do to tackle your days on a regular basis. Now, let's dive into today's masterclass sessions.
Hey, welcome, Carlos Adell.
Hey, Donovan, how are you, man?
I'm doing great. We're glad to have you here on the show.
I'm super happy to be here with you, man.
Absolutely. Now, Carlos, is there anything that we did not mention in the bio that you'd like to share with the Limitless Nation?
Well, there's one little secret about me that no one knows, and it is that once I dyed my hair and I became a blonde guy. And it was the weirdest thing to look at because it was like brown skin with blonde hair, blonde eyebrows. It was not good to look at. I can share a picture later on if you want to.
Sure, that's perfectly fine. Wow. Now, Carlos, here at the Limitless Nation, we have a tradition of starting each interview with a limitless quote or a mantra or even affirmation. Do you have such a quote or mantra or affirmation that you have embedded into your life on a daily basis?
Yeah, if I had to choose one, it would be something that I say all the time, and it is that life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. And it is related to that we can do with life whatever we want to do. We're not victims, we are creators.
Okay, so life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you.
For you, yeah. It's your opportunity to do whatever the heck you want to do with life. It is an opportunity, it's not a struggle, it's not a punishment. It is something that happens for you to create or co-create whatever you want to create with life. It's a beautiful journey.
It absolutely sounds like that. Now, and speaking of journey and life happening for you, what is a challenge or obstacle or even failure or just a difficulty that you've had to overcome to get to where you are now?
Yeah, that's a funny one because I've been asked, what's your biggest failure? What's your biggest setback in life? I like setback more than failures, but I don't believe in failure. Failure is a word that it doesn't exist in my dictionary because life is a journey. And anything that a failure is when you die, it's not a failure. It's just something that's going to happen at some point. But anything that happens to in your life, it helps you move forward and grow. So, but if I had to choose something that it was like a wall or a big wall that I had to overcome, it was when I finished my degree, I had to choose a work and I became an engineer because that was my dad's dream for myself. He wanted me to be an engineer. He wanted me to be successful in corporate. So I became really successful in corporate. I stepped up the ladder really quickly and I was successful for society. I had a good car, I had a good house, I had a good job, big responsibility, big teams, traveling all over the world with my job. And I was completely unfulfilled. And it was a moment of like, this is not the life I want to live. I don't really want to keep going with this life. This is not the person I'm happy with. I need to stop it here and just do something about that. And at this point, I was living a really, really unhealthy lifestyle. I was involved with some not legal businesses and drugs and party and DJing, and I was living like the the rock style kind of lifestyle, the rock star kind of lifestyle. And I had like a massive car crash that just knocked me down for like 9 days. And I was in a coma, and I woke up in a hospital bed one day. And this was kind of a breaking point in my life. It's an after and before.
Wow. So you kind of have a lot of everything. You were successful in the corporate world, and you were massively enjoying or just really experiencing the rock star lifestyle.
Yeah, I was an engineer. I was like a sales manager in a big corporation. I was really successful in everything I had done. I was DJing professionally as well on the weekends, and I was running a 6-figure business on the side, which was not legal. So to say something, I was surrounded by the wrong people and got involved in the wrong businesses and doing the wrong thing. But I was really successful in everything I was doing. I'm not saying I was doing the right thing, but I realized at one point that everything I was doing, I was successful for society, successful for the people in my surroundings, successful in the music and DJ industry, but I wasn't happy, and something needed to change. And I believe that life gives you warnings. And this was a massive warning that life gave me, because there was no other way. I mean, there was this of dying, and I was lucky enough not to die.
Yeah, it sounds like you're a lucky guy coming out of a coma after a car crash. That is almost unfathomable about how you were able to just survive that. Now, Carlos, now that you survived that traumatic event and those experiences, what would you say was your real limitless moment? Can you explain that a little bit more to us about how you shifted from this really illegal side job that was making you over $100,000 to now what you're doing now as a professional coach?
It was the limitless moment, and I really like to call it that way, because when I realized that everything was wrong, that I wasn't happy with anything that was going on in my life, and something big needed to change, and I understood that the best thing I could do to change things in my life was to change things in my life. So I broke up with everything that was part of my past. I bought myself like a flight ticket to Sydney, Australia, which is in the other side of the world from where I'm living, which is Spain. And I went there with no return. And I went there because I wanted to invent a different person, someone who was not an engineer, someone who was more involved in music, not as involved in drugs, and someone who was going to live a life of design versus a life of reaction. And it wasn't like an impossible enterprise for me at that moment, because I didn't even speak English, and I had no idea what I was going to do in the other side of the world, with no friends, with no family, with nothing at all, no money, nothing. And I went there, and I committed to do whatever it takes to succeed, and I did. And after a couple of years, I had my own business in Australia, and I had learned English, not as good as I'm talking it today, but it was enough to to get along. And I had made like something that it was kind of, it looked impossible. It seemed impossible when I made the decision to take this leap, to take the leap and make the journey. And people were like, how did you do that? How do you do that? I'm like, dude, this is something that you can do, I can do, anyone can do, because we are limitless. We are unstoppables, like I like to call it. And unstoppables in Spanish, it would be unstoppables with the S. So I'm just using this word. And we can achieve anything we want. But the problem is that we don't realize that life is there for us to make whatever we want with it. And it's our limit is in our mind. And when we think, oh, I can't do that. Yeah, of course, then you can't do that because you believe you can, then you cannot. And this was a moment for me of realization. And I'm like, if I can do that, you can do that, he can do that, she can do that. What are you talking about you can't? You don't want. This is the problem. And then I started, before running my business or being successful in Australia, I was in this moment where I'm like, what the fuck am I doing here? This is not for me. This is what you want to do. You should go back to corporate. You should do what you know how to do. Give up. And I was asking all these questions every day. And I started reading and searching and finding like Wayne Dyer, and then I found Tony Robbins, and then I found some of the entrepreneurs, and I started getting inspired and asking better questions. And then when you start asking better questions, you start getting better answers, right? And that is when I had learned all these skills and I had built me this business, and everything started happening. And I started getting more into coaching, and I wanted to not help people because no one needs help. Everyone's able to do anything they want, but coaching is about showing you the way. It's going with you so you can do whatever you want. Make sense?
That makes sense, Carlos. Now, Carlos, you're talking about coaching, but tell us, what are you working on right now?
Hope you enjoyed the masterclass session so far. Before we get into the second half of the session itself, it is very crucial for you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, as I really don't want you to miss out on another masterclass where I'm going to share with you what other expert celebrities, Fortune 5000 companies do to become successful and live a limitless life. So make sure you subscribe right now, and every single time we upload a new video, you will receive a notification bell. This allows you to enjoy the masterclass on the regular basis. So make sure you subscribe right now. Well, as you are ready, let's get into the second half of the masterclass session.
Yeah, look, what I decided, not at this point, because after this journey, I got back to Europe and it hit me like a ton of bricks, and something that's called the reverse culture shock. And it is that you've been living abroad for a long time, and then you come home, you think it's going to be all sweet and nice, and all of a sudden you're fucking and stranger in your own land, and it is the worst feeling you could ever have. I got depressed, and I didn't know what to do. I was home, but I didn't know how to proceed. So I got back to corporate. But now I knew that I needed to build a business that was about coaching, and this is what I did. And after 2 years back in Europe, I ended up building my coaching business, and I wanted to help people overcome the challenges that for me were easy. But what happened is that when I realized how to set up a business, how to make it a success, how to make money and a living and live the life that we are all meant to be living, I realized that there was a lot of coaches like me that they were trying to help people, but they didn't know how to build a business. So what I did is I started helping these coaches that they were maybe in corporate as well, or they had already started their own business and they didn't know how to scale things up, how to make it a success. And this is what I focused on. And I've been committed, learning and growing ever since. And now it's been over a year full-time in my business, and it's been growing exponentially from day one. I mean, I went from $0 to $20,000 per month in less than 30 days. And so I thought, I need to show this. So my joy is to help people achieve the same things that I can achieve, you know? So the more I grow, the more I can help them, the more they can grow, the more everyone can help. And the beautiful thing is, it is that coaches, we want to change the world. It is not about us, which it is as well, but it is about helping other people around us. So for every coach that succeeds, there's going to be a lot of people around this person that's going to be having a better life or having a better job or just not committing suicide, you know?
That is intense. So where can the Limitless Nation go to learn more about your business, as well as just other coaches finding you so that you can teach them what you know?
So the best thing to reach out to me is to find my name, which is Carlos Adell. And Adell, it is like Adele, the singer, but instead of an E at the end, it is double L, A-D-E-double-L. Carlos, C-A-R-L-O-S. If you find me on Facebook, just add me as a friend, reach out to me, let's chat, or you can search on your browser, carlosadellconsulting.com, and that will get me. Either way will work.
So carlosadellconsulting.com?
Yeah, that is the one.
Okay.
Or Carlos Adell on Facebook. Either way.
That works. Thank you for sharing that with us.
No worries. My pleasure.
Now, Carlos, when you started your Limitless journey, what would you say is the number one thing that was holding you back from really becoming the limitless individual that you are now?
Look, what's holding me back, what was holding me back, and what's holding everyone back, unless they are in jail or they have some physical kind of limitation, which unfortunately there is a few up there, but usually what I found is that our own beliefs, our own mindset, what we believe life is. Life is hard. Life is to work hard. Life is a struggle. I can't really be rich. I can't really have a house like that. This is what you tell to yourself. Your beliefs is usually the thing that holds you back from achieving your great success. You need to dream big and take action. There's nothing you can't accomplish.
I agree with that. With that. You got to dream big, and there's nothing that you can't accomplish.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Now, and speaking of dreaming big and nothing that you can't accomplish, Carlos, what was one piece of advice that you were given perhaps when you started out that you can now pass on to the Limitless Nation?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And I've got like great mentors all along my life. But if something that it's been with me since I was a kid and something that will be forever is the education that my parents gave me, my values and my principles. So I take my dad as one of my like great examples in my life. And when I was afraid of taking action and live the life that I wanted to live for me, one of the things that was holding me back, it was what will they think if I tell them that I don't want to be in corporate, that I just want to be happy and live my life the way I want it. So I decided that I was going to ask them and then say, look, this is the decision that I made. What do you think? And what they said, my parents, it struck me like a ton of bricks, because my dad he's not very talkative. And this time he's like, son, you should do in your life whatever makes you free. Whatever makes you free and happy, right? And then I'm like, wow, this is, and I mean, it made me cry, because it's like, yeah, we all should do that. We all should do whatever makes us feel free and happy, because we only have one life. And another thing that you don't know, and I haven't told you a lot of people about, is that I've been about to die, like not only this time, but 2 more times. So it's 3 times that I've been really next to death. And you realize that life is very short and it could be gone in a second. So you need to find what's your passion, what's your gift, and what makes you happy, and just have the freedom to do it.
I agree. You got to find what makes you happy and start moving towards that as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
Now, Carlos, in moving towards things as quickly as possible, what is a habit that you have instilled into your life now that has helped you maintain this limitless life as a sought-after coach?
Yeah, more than a habit, like I'm a person of habits. And when I'm committed to do something, like going to the gym, exercising is definitely like one of the big ones. Eating healthy as well. Mind and body, it's one same thing. So if you want to have like a clear mind and make the right decisions, you need to take care of your body. But then I am committed and resilient. That means that when I decide that I'm going to do that, I'm going to do that no matter what. And I'm not giving myself options. That means some people say, okay, I'm going to try build this business, but in the meantime, I have corporate. That's never going to work, because you always have like a safe net where you can just let yourself go. When you say, this is my goal and this is what I'm going to fucking do, no matter what, you'll find a way to do it. Exercise, eat healthy, and don't give yourself too many options. Just choose what you want and go for it. Make the decision to achieve it and go for it.
I like that. Make a decision and move from point A to point B. Simple.
Yeah, do it.
Absolutely. Now, Carlos, what is a resource that you can share with the Limitless Nation to help them on their journey?
Look, I got something prepared here, but the resource that I got, because one of the things that it gave me like a biggest headache when I was starting was understanding how to manage the internet and the social media to build a business that I could run from anywhere in the world, and I could help anyone in the world. And so what I did is I put together like a guide, which I call the organic growth formula, which it takes away the overwhelm of trying to figure out what to do, where to start, and what's the first steps to grow your business. So it is a PDF. It's a downloadable PDF with some of the steps that they need to take to how to present yourself on social media, choose a niche, what to do to start engaging with your ideal clients and enrolling people into your business. It's more about starting up, and yeah, of course you can scale up. It's the strategy that I used all this year. So it's a really good starting point. I mean, I spent 2 years of my life trying to figure this thing out. And it wasn't until I found like the recipe that I started getting results. So this is kind of solving and saving a lot of time for your audience.
That's amazing. So could you share what the link is, or the where can they find it?
Yeah, it's the link that's called carlosadell.com/organic dash. Yeah, is that the dash? I'm not sure. Organic growth formula 3-1, and between words there is it's organic dash growth dash formula dash 3-1. So it's a little bit complicated because it's easy when you get the link and you just click. But yeah, carlosadell.com /organic dash growth dash formula dash 3-1.
Got it. Thank you very much for sharing that with us. Now, Carlos, if you had to say, Carlos, in a hypothetical situation, say all the books that you own just all of a sudden disappeared, and all the books in the world just disappeared, and you only had enough money in your bank account to buy one book. It could be any book that you chose, but it could only be one book. What one book would you pick that changed your life the most?
I think if I had to choose only one book, it would be Think and Grow Rich from Napoleon Hill. And there's a lot of books that I love, but what I love about this one is it shows and it explains in a really, really, really easy way to understand why and how to become limitless. And it's all about making the decision, making the commitment, going for it, and burning all the bridges behind. And it gives you examples of people like Henry Ford, President of the United States, like Thomas Edison. Like it's amazing all the examples that you get there from people that have done it before. So if they have done it, why can't you do it as well? So
I agree. Now, Carlos, in another hypothetical situation, if you had the ability to travel back in time and to see the younger version of yourself and speak to the younger version of yourself, is there anything that with what you know now that you would share with the younger version of yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. I would tell him two things. Just stop doing all this pot and smoking weed thing that you're doing, and find new friends. Like, find people that are successful. Surround yourself by, find an environment that fulfills your ultimate purpose. Because people don't realize proximity is so powerful. You want to set yourself a goal and then find people that have achieved it. Because if you surround yourself by limitless people and successful people, there is no way you're not going to be limitless and successful. But if you surround yourself by people who do drugs and stuff, well, you can guess who's next. So this is the most important advice that they can give to everyone.
I agree. Thank you very much for sharing that with us.
No worries. Thanks for having me here.
Yes. Well, Carlos, where can the Limitless Nation go to find out more about you, your coaching services, as well as just to connect and say hi?
I've got my profile on Facebook. I've got my website, and I also have a group on Facebook that's called The Unstoppables, which is all about being limitless. So this is a place. I'm also on LinkedIn. Carlos Adell is the name that I use everywhere. And if you guys want to come to the north of Spain, to the sunny Catalonia, I'll be here with my open arms.
Amazing. Well, thank you very much for your time, Carlos. I certainly appreciate it.
No worries. It's been awesome being here with you, man.
Now, I'm sure that the Limitless Nation has been inspired by your story. I know that I absolutely have been blown away by the sheer determination that you have had in your life, and that you continue to share and just impact the world.
Thank you.
Until next time, this is Donovan saying stay limitless.
Stay limitless.
Well, that's a wrap. Please make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking on the word subscribe. And if you want to go deeper on learning on what you need to do to hunt your future, make sure you watch the interview that I've done with Donovan on what you need to do to hunt your future on every aspect of your being. This allows you to live a limitless life on every aspect of your life, starting from today's forward. Plus, you are going to receive tips and tricks on what you need to do to tackle your day, tackle your challenges on every situation, every single time. So Go ahead and download it right now, and until then, stay limitless forever.